Begin. Hi there, Stevie Coyle, Friday noontime Facebook webcast. Mighty Fine Guitars, you know the thing, it's Friday noontime. Most Friday noontimes Pacific time, thank you very much. I do a little webcast from Mighty Fine Guitars, my guitar shop in Lafayette, California, full of top shelf acoustic guitars. And folks, they just walk in the door. Had a couple more walk in the door this past couple of weeks, and I wanted to show you 3 today by Peter Rodman, a gentleman out of the Winters, Davis, Sacramento, Bermuda Triangle, where for some reason there are lots of great builders. Couldn't tell you why. But something in the water beats the hell out of me. But I got 3. I've shown you one of these guitars a couple of weeks ago, the little parlor guitar that just set the internet on fire. But I got a couple more. I got an OM and a kind of a 00 OM hybrid. Some of you will have no idea what the hell I'm talking about. But I'll play the instruments and you'll be able to hear what's going on there. Let me make sure, as usual, stop things, come to a screeching halt, and make sure that this is going out on the wires. And there we go. Looks like it. Yeah. Let's rock. Come on in, folks. I see there are 4 of you in here. So do feel free to sign in. Let me know where you're webbing in from. Always of interest. See who wins the faraway prize. Peter Rodman, R-O-D-M-A-N. I've got 3 guitars to show you. The first one is this here OM. Beautiful, really light. A lot of people will grab a guitar and they'll say, oh, this one's heavy, or this one's really light. Yeah, but you can never really tell what an instrument is going to sound like until you play the damn thing. Light doesn't necessarily mean good, although in this case it sure does. And heavy doesn't mean bad. Some builders mass load the sides of their guitars. There's a gentleman in here called Frank Troncalli, whose instruments I'll be featuring soon. He's going to bring me another new one, where he actually puts lead weights on the side of the guitar to keep the sides from vibrating, so that the idea being presumably you're driving energy to the top. This is the old style, build 'em light, so everything resonates style of guitar. I have not found in my many years, folks, of playing acoustic guitars and examining them and talking about them and nerding out, geeking big time about them. I have found no particular reason to think that a heavy guitar is going to sound good or bad, or that a light guitar is going to sound good or bad. It's the individual guitar. They're wooden boxes, people. They're wooden boxes. So they're hugely variable. I've mentioned before, my guitar, built by Alan Perlman, was built right next door to another guitar out of the same billets of wood, same slabs of wood, by the same guy at the same time, and they sound hugely different. Now this one's got a bit of history to it. Look at how pretty it is. It's really lovely. This is kind of a triple O-ish, OM-ish style guitar. Let me read you some of the specs on it. Let me get them out of my own light. The back and side material are Indian rosewood. Check it out. Lovely, deep, rich, straight striped. And I always point out this part of the guitar because that's the part that the player is going to be looking at. Oh, how is the sound, by the way, folks? We've had a little problem with sound being stuttery the past couple of times. Do let me know. Type on in whether or not the sound is good today. Let me play a little bit for you so you can tell. My voice is only going to sound like my voice. But that should sound like a beautiful OM style, triple O OM Martin style guitar built by Peter Rodman out of Davis, California. And Peter, are you here? Were you able to jump in from the beaches of Hawaii? He's off in Hawaii this week. But I hope he's here and will correct me for anything I get wrong, or jump in with any commentary you'd like to add that I may forget. Just exactly what a rosewood guitar should sound like. Let me continue with the specs here. Indian rosewood back and sides, no surprise. Top is, I think this is a Sitka top. Looking down, Peter gives us he always sends me this really comprehensive list of what the thing is made of and how he made it and what all the specs are, all the measurements. Hugely welcome, builders out there. If you ever have a sheet like this, it helps, because sometimes people say, what are the braces made of? Peter can tell you, Sitka braces, scalloped Sitka spruce, says right here on this piece of paper. Very useful. So yeah, Sitka, kind of a nothing fancy. It doesn't mean it doesn't sound great, because it does. But in today's, a lot of people sort of say, well, Sitka, well, you know, Sitka is kind of basic standard stuff. Sitka is great wood. Sitka is stiff and strong, and that's why it has lasted. Well, I need Engelmann spruce. I need, you know, a German spruce. I need alpine, grown on the north side of the mountain during the full moon. And there are spruces that advertise that way, and they do sound great. But I think I'm more in the camp with Frank Ford out of Griffin Stringed Instruments, who says, spruce is spruce. To a certain degree, I think that's exactly right. Which, again, is all variable, hugely variable. One slab of Sitka could sound more like Engelmann than a slab of Engelmann would sound like. The typical, you know, the brightness and the shimmer and the nasality and the sibilance and all of those terms people use, because there are not great terms to talk about sound. There's louder and there's quieter, and everything else is kind of a wine analogy, a food analogy, a temperature analogy, similes and metaphors, analogies. That's what you got when you're talking about wood and sound. So its scale length is 25.34, so it's long scale, even though it's got kind of a more, to look at it, you'd think, oh, it's a triple O, because it's got this kind of wraparound style pickguard instead of the standard OM pickguard. That's Peter's choice. He thought, oh, it looks better the other way. Oh, and this guitar I should mention. That's what I was going to tell you. Get myself back on topic. He leaves a note at the bottom of this lovely inventory of what it's made of and how it's made and what the measurements are. He says the original guitar was completed in 2011. In 2022 and 23, the original top was replaced with a new Sitka spruce top, maple binding, herringbone purfling and bridge, and the neck was replaced with a new Honduran mahogany one-piece neck, but the original fretboard was preserved and it was refretted. Wow. So this is a real pentimento guitar. This is one that just kind of completely refurbed, and I have to say it sounds great and plays great. If somebody just handed me this, I was in a blindfold taste test, I'd say, oh, Martin, from the 50s maybe, 60s. The neck is a little roundier, you know, he calls it a simple D shape. Feels like kind of a closed C to me, but it's hard to make that distinction between a D, a simple D, and a closed C. Very comfy neck, kind of roundy, fits right in my palm. I'm a palm style player because I use my thumb over the top a lot for bass notes. So I'm interested in what it feels like when the neck sits down in my palm. I'm not kind of perched up like a more classical style player with a thumb behind would be. Super comfy. Oh. It's the first warm day we've had in a long time here, so all of the guitars are just shifting and moving all over the place. But it feels like a long scale guitar. It's got that nice kind of stiffness, which would accommodate drop tunings really nicely. You bet. So that when you're up high, you're fretting up high on the low strings, the intonation will be better, ostensibly, than on a short scale guitar, which in a short scale guitar you would have easier string, you'd be able to push the strings around more, and it might feel a little bit nicer action, but the setup on this one is really good. Dead easy to play, but you can hit it good and hard, and it's not going to bounce off the frets. You're not going to fret out, as they say. Sorry, Pete. Got bluesy on you there for a second. There's the OM, triple O. There's another one to show you. That's kind of a hybrid between triple O's and O's. This one is made of Guatemalan rosewood. And let me see, I think this is a Sitka top as well. But let me check, I got all the specs right here for all three of these guitars I'm going to show you today. Peter Rodman is the featured luthier today at Mighty Fine Guitars. Thanks for tuning in. Oh, and let me take a look here. Make sure that the sounds are happening as they should. Good balance, a little overdrive on top notes. Good to know. I'll back up a little bit. That's just me. Facebook is not letting me see or hear. What? Really, Peter? Have you not got a Swift connection there? Oh, that's too bad. The builder is online here. Hi, Chris Muller. Nice to see you from beautiful Yosemite. Best to all those folks up there. Sounds good on my side. Thanks, John. Very good. Sounds great. Jimmy Esposito, thank you very much. Go Broncos. Well, this is the, let me sure I got the right one here. Yeah, this is the 00OM. It's got features of 00 and of OM. It's kind of a crossover guitar. This one is made of Guatemalan rosewood, back and sides, which is Dalbergia tucurensis. And it looks like that, kind of a light colored. And again, a very lightly built guitar. Feels really great. And the back and sides on this are that. The top is Sitka, and top material, Sitka. Yeah, that's right. Okay, good. And this one sounds like this. To my ear, a little bit more towards the mahogany end of the spectrum, not the super rich, lush, cathedral-style overtones that you get out of Indian rosewood. And who knows, it's this body style, it's these hunks of wood. Can't say that this is typical of Guatemalan rosewood. A little more fundamental, a little less... Yeah, it feels a little... sounds to me a little more mahogany. Whatever that means to you. To me, that means a little more fundamental, a little less lush overtones. A little more direct. A little quicker off the top. You don't have to wait for the notes to combine with all the rest of the overtones that are being generated by the strings. It's got that really kind of cool finger-picky sort of sound. It's a 13 fretter. This one has 13 frets to the body instead of the typical 12 or 14. So you get kind of the best of both worlds. You get the bridge pushed down farther away from the sound hole into the middle of the lower bout, which is where us finger pickers tend to like it because you get that intense articulation there. And but at the same time, you've got an extra fret's worth of access to the top. Split the difference. Push me, pull you. Lovely guitar. Says what you want it to say. It's got that kind of responsive, thoroughbred sort of sound. You hit it harder, it gets louder. But it also gets punchier. So hard to talk about sound. I hope you heard a little bit of what I was talking about there. The last guitar I want to show you today, and I'll let you go I'm going to try and keep these little Friday noontime webcasts somewhere under the 20-minute mark. The last one I want to show you, here's a guitar that I showed you a couple of weeks ago, but I want to show you again because it's part of this whole Rodman troupe of guitars that I have in here at the moment. Here's that little parlor guitar that I featured, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks ago. Yeah, I say this is that one. This is a really loud one. This is the one you want sitting on the couch, watching Netflix, watching Creature of the Black Lagoon, watching sports. And you kick back on the couch and you need something small, easy to play. You can reach over and get to the chips and the remote control. So many pluses to a guitar this size. And this is a little parlor guitar and it makes all that sound. This is like that little character on Felix the Cat. Remember the old Felix the Cat cartoon? Some of you will. And there was that little character, Vavoom, little guy about this big, and Vavoom, and, walls would fall down. I think I dubbed this one Vavoom. Tremendous resonance. And volume and power. How these guys do that is beyond me. People come in and say, "Oh, did you build any of these guitars?" And I stifle my laughter and say, No. I tried building car models when I was a kid, and they did not turn out so very good. Uniformly, I just couldn't wait. Did not have the patience to wait for the paint to dry or the glue to dry or the water to dry on the decals. They were up and getting zoomed around with fingerprints on the sides and the wheels falling off because I always put those on last. I'm not a builder. So how these guys make these instruments sound like, how you make a little teeny guitar sound like this is beyond me, way beyond. So I'll just I'll just let the mystery be. Thank you, Iris. Wow, what a sweetie. So, today we have the parlor, kind of a size 2-ish sort of thing, built in 2023, brand new, just came in. Yeah, this one is, that's a red spruce top, Adirondack top, and back and sides on this one, I told you a couple of weeks ago, you think I'd remember. Cambodian rosewood. That's Dalbergia cochinensis. So Cambodian rosewood on that one. Guatemalan rosewood on the 00/OM. These are all up on the website. You can check these out. Just hit the little Rodman link when you get to the website. These 3 guitars will pop up. Hit each one of those individually and be taken to all of these specs and more photos. And I think I may have put up a video, and I'll put this video up on the page on mightyfineguitars.com about these other 2 Rodman guitars. And this one is Guatemalan rosewood. That one is the Cambodian rosewood. And this one is Indian rosewood and Sitka. And these are Peter Rodman guitars. If you got any questions, you got any comments, if you want me to do a little Skype or FaceTime or Facebook Messenger. Boy, is that an OM or what? That's Indian rosewood and Sitka. Sustain, sustain, sustain. Rich combinations, rich suffusions. I just made up a word of overtones that all combine with each other and swirl around each other and propagate each other. Wonderful guitars. 3 Rodman guitars today, folks. Thanks for tuning in. Like I say, if there are any comments or questions, put them in down below. I'll keep an eye on this throughout the next few days. And there will be, this recording will go up on the website, Mighty Fine Guitars, for these other two guitars. I think I already have a Friday Noontime webcast up for the little Rodman parlor guitar. So you can always go back and check these out. If you know people that you think would enjoy this kind of thing, hip them to it. You can share this right now, or you can share it later. Send it on over. You can post it on your page if you're so inclined. Thank you very much in advance. And to button up the quitters, myself and Glenn Houston and Chris Key are going to be playing at this is a wonderful venue out in Dixon, California, not too far from Davis, California, where Peter Rodman is. A place called the Rustaller. I say allergies are killing me. Rustaller Farm, Ruhstaller. It's a hops farm. It's fantastic. It'll be a nice warm evening out there. We'll play from 6 to 9, and Joe Craven is going to join us. So you can check that out. That's touted mercilessly on my page, on the Quitters Trio page, or the Quitters Duo page. It's still called Quitters Duo, even though we're a trio. And like I say, we're going to be joined, aided and abetted by mandolinist, violinist, educator, percussionist, fashion insultant, Joe Craven will be joining us out there, and we're so looking forward to that. So hope to see you there tomorrow night, sometime between 6 and 9 if you can make it. And otherwise, I'll be here again next week, Friday afternoon at noontime, Pacific time. And stop in if you can, and do feel free to spread the word. Do feel free to stop in at the website, mightyfineguitarist.com. I think it's pretty well up to date. Talk to you soon. Thanks for tuning in.